Or
for the doo-doo or something.
Oh, good. Apparently it's taking too long.
So we're here at Max Muscle of Manassas today with Tony Warwick and John Bamsey, two of the toughest competitors there were in the Maxformation Contest. And we're just really excited to see them in the store and see their results. So I'd love to hear kind of your statistics about what change happened for you guys with the Maxformation Contest.
What change didn't happen, I guess.
What do you think, Tony?
Well, not just physically, but you change your attitude, your self-esteem, your mentality. Maybe forward thinking more, I think. What am I going to do next? What's going to be next? I've made this goal. Now, you always make goals. So I've got this goal, I've got this goal. What's your next goal that you're going to make to try to achieve?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. It's not only, I use the metaphor of dangling the carrot, back to leading a donkey. And I'm perfect one for being a donkey, I guess. But it's always setting a goal. Okay, I met that one, great. But there's more I can do. Can I push it a little bit harder? Gee, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And honestly, one of the things I kept on mentioning in my blogs and I tell anybody is taking that first step. I can talk myself out of doing anything and not having to do anything. It's really easy to go, gee, I'm not going to make it. But taking that first step and then taking the first step again, and then the next day. It's almost as if you're in AA. You got to do one day at a time.
Yeah.
You got to re-step and just keep trying.
Well, no, Tony, I see you nodding. Like, what made you decide to take the first step?
I guess the title of my Max Muscle Maxformation is get up off your butt, to say it nicely. That was my motivation, my philosophy, because I've always done a lot. I've never sat around or anything. Work full time, teach online part time, work with the kids and do the house and the yard and everything. But and I put it in my blog. Not to take away from dads or anything, but moms tend to give to everybody else first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got braces when I was 35 because the kids needed braces first. So you give. So it's time for yourself.
Yeah. And are you finding you have more time for your family, or more energy for your family?
More energy.
Yeah.
Well, this past 6 months have been a whirlwind of, working out. But yeah, more energy. I used to fall asleep on the couch, 8:39? He's always like, you fall asleep so early. Now I can stay up later and do more.
Well, so what do you think was the key for both of you about being able to stick to it? Because 6 months is a long time to commit to a program like this, even with a reward out there.
In my last post, when I put my final pictures up, and I'm sure you read it because I always read all yours and everything. Part of it was I didn't want to let myself down. I can accept if somebody's more talented than I am, but I can't accept if somebody works harder than I do, because there's always somebody that's going to work harder than you do. But if you know that you went in there and you tried to give it your A game, as I put it, or you tried to give it your best every day, then that's all you can ask of yourself. But if you don't and somebody else beats you, then you kind of have to beat yourself up afterwards, because I should have done that one more rep. I should have got myself out of the bed. I should have gone and done the cardio even when I didn't want to. And those are the things that I did this past 6 months.
What about you, John?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Unfortunately, I had my career that kind of like overtook my life for 4.5 months and 80-hour weeks. But I made it a point to do the minimum and get out there and still do something. And then once that was, shall we say, past me, I was able to pick up a little more time. The big key is, if you have the opportunity, I think the key is if you have an accountability partner, somebody to help you, somebody to go out there and work out with you. That's awesome, because they're gonna say, well, come on, I'm feeling good today. You gotta go. Doesn't always work out that way. The other thing though is, this was great because once you got started, shall we say, blogging, I'll use that term, making the milestones, creating milestones, I felt like, okay, even if I was doing it myself, I was sitting here now telling somebody else, and I felt like I had to check in and make the milestone. And then I started realizing, well, gee, I haven't checked in and I haven't done anything. Oh crap, I need to get off my butt and get moving. And I got this race coming up and I've got this coming up. So honestly, it was great for somebody that doesn't have the partners around or somebody around to help them out, to shall I say, put themselves out there. As a friend of mine said the other day to me, I don't know if I can expose myself. Well, I don't like to expose myself and didn't like that first picture either. But nonetheless, sometimes you just gotta have a little humility and you just step up and say, finally, enough is enough, and get off my fat.
So I have to ask this, in terms of the Max Muscle products that you've used, I mean, how did they contribute to what you were able to achieve?
Well, when you and I were talking earlier, I told you, with my husband and I, before, I've tried different protein powders that I'd have to choke down and just say, forget it, I just can't choke that down. If they were not as good as far as helping me with my body, as far as muscle growth and energy, and they didn't taste as good as they do, I would never have made it through the first month.
That's great.
I just wouldn't have been able to choke something down for 6 months, that even though I knew it, if it worked, it helped that they are really good quality products. And he knows I carry around a purse full of Max Muscle cards, and